Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another Davis Dimension video. And I hope you're doing well mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all that junk. Okay? And get ready to listen because we're going to be talking about Dreams and Nightmares by your man Meek Mills. You know what I'm saying? I don't even listen to Meek Mills, and I'm from Philly, and I don't even like that song like that. And I hate it when people was just so all over that song. That's besides the point. But we're literally talking about dreams and nightmares, depending on how you interpret this topic and interpret what I'm saying and how you really feel about it. You understand? Here's the thing. Here's some background knowledge. For me, dreams are always a representation of the past, the present, or the future, whether you like it or not. Bad enough, we as humans, we don't get to choose what we dream about. We don't get to choose what we see, what we hear, what we feel. Hell, shoot, sometimes what we taste in our dreams. I know I dream about food every now and then. I can taste every single bite. You understand? We don't get to choose what we dream about. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's pleasurable, painful. Sometimes, it makes you wonder, what's real and what's not. You get stuck in the dream world and the real world sometimes. People have disorders. They can't tell the difference between their dreams and reality. You understand? For me, my dreams used to be so bad when I was a kid. Like, I'd be cursing and swinging and punching and swinging my arms and all of that when I was a kid, to the point where my mom or, my aunt and her ex-boyfriend at the time used to like come shake me out my sleep and yell at me and wake me up like, yo, wake up, wait, what are you doing? Stop cursing. Like, what's wrong with you? Blah, blah. And I just wake up and I'm like, huh? Oh, well, another night of night terrors, I guess. And back to sleep I went. Now, somewhere somewhere in 6th, 7th grade, when I was, like 11, 12, 10-ish, or whatever, stuff like that, I just had the most intense dreams, like, on a consistent basis. Like, I had nightmares all the time. I would be getting killed in my dreams. I would get lost. I would lose control of my body. I would just float and fly and couldn't stop it. Would have powers and all that, and I couldn't stop it. And I just didn't understand why I would have these kind of dreams that were so uncomfortable and so confusing so much. But the way I look at it now, when I look back in time, I had those dreams a lot because I was in a confused state. I was really trying to figure out who I was, what I wanted, trying to fit in, trying to just, figure out my personality, trying to figure out who I am. So in my dreams, I was literally dying and confused in my dreams and having random dreams that were often uncomfortable because in real life, I was uncomfortable. In real life, I didn't know who I was. I was confused. In real life, I was mentally and emotionally dying. So in my dreams, I would die. That's the way I interpret it today. And even at the time when I first started researching dreams and looking up, well, why do I keep dying in my dreams? Why do I keep having nightmares like consistently? And, it talked about fears and insecurities and confusion and self-esteem issues and abuse and trauma and all those kind of words, buzzwords, keywords on this channel, and I started to understand like, man, like, well, what am I doing that would be considered an identity problem or a self-esteem problem or confusing and stuff like that. What am I doing? But I had to think. And at that time when I was in middle school, I was acting out a lot. I had different behaviors. I was being somebody that I knew that's not who I was and wasn't my best self, I'll say. We all played around, skipped school at some point, got into a fight or two, stole something, snuck out of class early, whatever. We all did these kind of things at some point in our childhood, and it's normal. But for me, like, I was never like a truly disobedient, truly disrespectful, truly wild kid until like middle school. But that was a manifestation of me being tired of the school that I was in. I was tired of being around the same kids. I knew some of the same kids from kindergarten all the way through high school, and it's frustrating and it's annoying dealing with idiots and people that you don't get along with for 12 years of your life, pretty much. Some of them were neighbors and they live right around the corner and whatnot, and I see them all the time. And it was frustrating. Bad enough, I had to deal with bullying and just getting picked on and getting messed with because I was quiet and I cried a lot and I was easy to get upset. And, I would fight over anything and everything. Bad enough, I had to deal with all that. So that just multiplied the turmoil inside of me and manifested in my dreams. So I say all that to say that represented that time. And that is what dreams meant in that time as a child. as I drifted into my teenage years, these dreams got crazy. Like, I would have deja vu so much. And sometimes till this day, I be in situations and having conversations where I'm like, yo, I had this conversation before. I seen this whole setup. I did it. I'm telling you, you said the same thing. I said this, I said that. I had conversations where I said something and I'm like, you about to say this, this, and that. And they be like, I was about to say that. How you know that? And I'm not saying I got powers or nothing like that, but it's crazy how life works sometimes. And I'm just trying to make a point here. I'm not trying to make anything supernatural and all ghostly and all that, but I'm just making a point psychologically, mentally, and whatever else goes on in this world. I'm just making a point. So I want to tell you a quick story, and I'm going to try to sum it up. I had a premonition. And the premonition, if you don't know what that is, that's basically a vision, a dream of something that's going to happen in the future. A lot of time it's, correlated with death. People usually say the word premonition because they had a dream about someone or maybe themselves dying. It's usually what it is. And that's exactly what it was for me. You understand? I had a neighbor that was real close to, I was real close to. He was like a grandfather figure to me. I only was able to be around for a couple years. I learned a lot from him, a lot about manners, about manhood, about respecting women, about Black culture, history of Africa, different religions, XYZ, community stuff. I learned a lot from this man. And in 2016, I had a dream that he was dead. I had a dream that me and a friend, ex-friend now, but someone that I used to talk to that I was cool with that knew him as well, I had a dream that he was gone. And I had reached out to this person, even though we wasn't even talking at this time. I just couldn't fight the feeling like something was wrong. And I told him, yo, you should call, we call him Doc. I said, yo, you should call Doc and see if he's okay, because I had a dream that he didn't answer the phone and he was dead. Right? And I called him that day several times and he didn't answer me. You understand? So I was already off the edge of my seat and already unsettled because I had this dream, and I sat up that morning and was just thinking about it. So I went to the park, I'm taking walks like I usually do, exercise and listening to music, and I just couldn't get it off my mind. I reached out to him. I said, you do the same thing and see what he say. He's like, no, he didn't answer me. That's kind of weird. Why is it weird? It's because he's the kind of person that would answer the phone no matter what. He was one of those old head types that's like, well, you gonna answer the phone when I call you, or if you need anything, you better call me. I'll answer you right away. And if I can't, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And he was like that, and he meant that. And he was big on, if you say you're gonna do something, you need to do it. And if you can't do it, admit that you can't do it and be honest about the fact that you can't do it. So he never skipped a phone call, especially if I called first, because I barely did. Now, reminder, we found out that he was sick. He had cancer at some point, but we didn't know how bad and how much, because he was a man who didn't want to show weakness. He was a man who always stood tall, who didn't make excuses. He's one of those types. We have many men like that and some women who are like that as well. You understand? So that day, he didn't answer the phone from me. He didn't answer the phone from this ex-friend of mine. And I got uncomfortable. I called him one more time and I didn't hear nothing. Now, I almost swear, I could have, memory is faulty sometimes. Sometimes we remember things the way we want to, or, we just be out of it and we hear what we want to hear. But I swore I heard a heart monitor, and I swore I heard the sound of a heartbeat. That's how clear it was. And I'm not lying. I 100% mean this, okay? Listen, he called back sometime after that, and, he answered the friend, my ex-friend. He answered it, and then he called me and said he answered. Then he called me and he was like, yo, I was wondering about you. How you doing? You haven't called in a while. Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, everything's okay. I just had a dream, and I didn't tell him what the dream was about, but I was just like, it was just a dream that you was moving or something like that. And, he was like, yeah, well, so, I'm fine or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I always tell you, and he always did, I always tell you, listen to your dreams. Listen, when you feel like you need to call somebody, call them, because there's 1,000 things that you could be thinking about during the day, and there's 1,000 things that the brain is already processing every day why would you suddenly feel urges to call certain people, And in his eyes, from his perspective, it was for a reason. You understand? Like, if you randomly are hard pressed to really call somebody, he was always big on you should do it because you have so many distractions in life. Why all of a sudden would you get an urge to call someone? And he couldn't have been more right, because later that year, well, not that year, but in 2017, he passed away. And I wasn't there, and I didn't know until a neighbor had reached out to me and told me that, he's gone. The last time I spoke to him was when I graduated Army boot camp in December of 2016. And he called me on the phone and he said, yo, I'm proud of you. You should be happy. It's a choice to join the military. Black people and so, you had to get drafted. It wasn't an option. We just had to deal with it, and we had to take it and make the most out of it. But be happy and be proud of the fact that you chose to join the military, because there's other things to do in the world, but I chose to do that and honor my ancestry and honor the people who come before me who have died and all that in the military, and carry it with respect and make the most out of it. That's what he told me. And he said he was proud of me. You understand? And that was the last time I ever spoke to him. And then he was gone. Say that to say, yeah, I had a clear premonition. I had a clear vision and a dream of somebody dying. I didn't know exactly how they were going to die. It did not show in my dream exactly. But just within a few months, not even a year, he was really gone. You understand? So to me, and forever and always, when I have a dream, and it's so clear, and I feel the meaning, and I know the meaning when I wake up and open my eyes, I know exactly what it meant. I trust it and I believe it. And there's nothing nobody could tell me. You understand? Because it happened to me. Not only when I was a kid and throughout my teenage years, I was having all kinds of dreams as I was doing yoga and meditation and trying to get my spiritual life together, studying different religions, all that stuff. I started to open up, and my mind and everything was just different, and it was crazy because, like I said, I had that dream and he wasn't there no more. You understand? So in today's time, to wrap this up, I had a dream on February 1st, ironically, on the 1st. Took notes down and everything. I have dream notes and dream diaries and stuff like that when I have serious dreams. And a lot of the dreams that are serious, I don't forget them. I remember dreams from when I was a little kid like they was yesterday, because I'm just one of those people who have that kind of mindset and chemistry and brain set up that I can do that. Everybody can't do that, or it takes deep therapy or something, or life events to extract moments and dreams, from their childhood, But for me, I remember a lot of things, and I always have, So on this dream on February 1st, I had a dream that I was like at the end of time or something. Like, I don't know if any of you guys watch Avengers or Marvel and stuff like that. There's always a character somewhere that can see the timeline and see the flow of humanity and all that. You watch The Matrix, you see the room full of outcomes with Neo and the screens when he met the architect. I had a dream where I was just like that. And I was able to see things, and I was helping people and explaining to them things that they did wrong in their life and the things they needed to learn, and the parts where they made a little mistake and they should have did this and they should have did that. We all have those feelings in life. We all experience those things where we're like, damn, I wish I made this decision and that decision. And we realize exactly when, where, and how we should have changed, or we could have done something different. We all go through that. But in this dream, I was exactly in the position to help people, and I was guiding them and telling them and pointing it out. And when I had that dream and it concluded, it felt good. But when I woke up, I was like, yo, like I was fading out of the dream, and I was like, man, like, I don't want to wake up. I don't want to wake up. Like, go back. Like, because I wanted to dream, and it just felt so real, and I seen it all. And prior to the part where I got to the part where I was showing people their timelines and where they're going to go and what they're going to do and what they should have done and blah, 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 I was on this bridge where people were like dead or like zombified and just stuck. And those represented the people that were, crippled by their fears, their anxiety, their doubts, their angers, their you know, their bad karmas, whatever you want to say, all the negative things or lesser value things in life, they were stuck. And people crossing this bridge were scared to cross it because of what they saw and what it reminded them of. But they eventually made it to the other side, to the room that I spoke about, that showed them the better side of things, where you got to see where you are, who you are, where you've been, and where you may go. You know, I was able to do that. And to wrap this up, I had that dream. And when I woke up, that dream just reminded me exactly of what I want to do with my life and what my goals and what my passions are, which is to help people, to give people guidance, to give people knowledge, to share wisdom, to reflect off of myself and give people light in times of darkness, because I've been in darkness. I know what it's like to be alone and lonely. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to not want to be here, to run away from all your problems, to feel like nobody loves you, to feel like you can't trust nobody, to not love, to be so doubtful, to second guess everything, to have low self-esteem, to be scared. I know exactly what all of that feels like, and I had to deal with that since I was a kid. You understand? And I talk about it a lot on this channel, and I don't want to get too serious, but it's facts and it's real. Let me tell you why. All these dreams are why, and they tell me everything that I need to know. You understand? So after that dream, it's April 16th. And I had that dream in February. And ever since I had that dream, I just felt more alert, felt more awake, felt more motivated, more focused. I've been thinking a lot clearer about certain things. I left a job that wasn't really serving me, starting to just move differently with my family and social circles and stuff like that. And it's crazy. It's crazy, ever since I had that dream. And I knew exactly what that dream meant. And that dream meant to focus and get back on your goal and get back on your purpose. It's my job. It's my duty to help people, to show people the way, because I was lost at some point and I found my way. You understand? And even times where I have moments where I do get stuck, I'll always find my way out of it, no matter what anybody has to say, no matter what's going on. Anything can happen in life, and I may or may not have a time where I may be permanently lost, or I may not know where I'm going or what I'm doing. But long story short, dreams mean a lot. Dreams tell you the past, the present, or the future, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. But plug in, understand, listen, research, write it down, reflect upon it. If you have people to talk about it with, talk about it. If not, talk to yourself, because you'd be surprised how many answers you find when you sit down and you think. Peace.